Hi, I want to go over the first step of creating our Peep storyboard animatic. So first, in our desktop here, I have a folder which is labeled as Peep storyboard. Within this folder, I'm going to scan, nice, flat, careful scan at 300 dpi for quality. And have all the pages. And I had quite a few because I kind of extended my story, went to 5 pages and then continued. So I'm going to do all 10 pages. So here they are in these folders here, saved as JPEGs. You can do PNGs, that's fine, but I prefer and have done JPEGs. Also in this folder, I'm going to create my Premiere file and save it in this folder. And then I'm going to do each individual frame of these pages of storyboard and have them in this folder. So I want to contain everything. So when we close this Premiere and open it back up, it can refer to those original images. Because it doesn't embed them, it's always going to reference the original material, so you never want to separate those. We'll always keep everything in the same folder, so hopefully that will avoid any issues or trying to find where did I put my images. Now I got to put them back or have my Premiere try and find them. The next thing I want to do is make sure we're naming what our panels are for easy working process and flow. So, but I'll get started here. Just so I'm going to go into, let's go into Premiere first. I've already kind of have some stuff going on here and showing a sequence here. And here I've got some action of individual storyboard frames, but I had fixed a number of them or had to prep those frames so that they work best in an animatic form. What you'll notice in most of it, that any of the red arrows and notes saying in and out of screen for the action, I got rid of them, and then I actually added more panels, or I photoshopped those panels to remove characters so that we can have, like in this image here, my storyboard had this panel and this panel. And then there was a red comment and an arrow here saying the character exits the scene. But here I actually took it in Photoshop and erased that character and the red lines in the comment, and then kind of fixed the rest of the lid of the tin can to complete that scene. Here's an example in Premiere of when you don't do that. And here I used one panel and showed that the character comes in, and then I have 3 poses. Well, you can see when we play this animatic, it's hard to figure out timing, and I think we're asking a bit of our audience to interpret what these multiple images within that frame means. So what I have to do is go in and clean those up. And the end result, show you the end result here, and then we'll go into Photoshop and I'll do an image to show how we go about it. So on this one, because it says in, I just want to show the background before the character enters. So if I pull back this image, there we have that just background. When we come in, so now I just want to show this character here and get rid of this arrow and the in dialogue here. So if I reveal that here, then we have that, and that kind of flows much better, and we can see him enter that scene. For the next one, I've isolated just that character, and then for the last one, I'll get rid of that scene completely, that he continues. So that way we can time out those images so that that action looks like it would work if we animate it to that timing. And that's the whole point of the animatic, is to make sure that works. So that when we go to animate, we know that, you know, from this frame to this frame, that's how many frames we've got to work with to animate that sequence of that character, Quack, flying into that scene and up towards the tree. Then, you know, I've cut to just the tree itself. And again, the image that I started with this one, but I erased him to have a new image here, which I saved, and then have them all going forward. Now this is the one I'm going to demonstrate in Photoshop. So here's the just the background, then the branch lowering where Quack is being set down on the ground, and there he's sitting. What we need to do now is what happens next is that branch takes his the coin, the medallion, from his neck and flings it across. So I want to prep that one to finish this scene up so that it works properly. So here I'm going to go to Photoshop, and here's that shot here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crop that and then do, oh, that's not it. This is what those scenes look like before, where the branch is coming down. And I eliminated that and eliminated anything here. And because it said in, I kind of cleaned out the character so we had just the background. Completed that. So this is the one I want to work on, is this last image here. But before I do that, I am going to go to our crop tool on the left here in Photoshop. And when I select that, it marquees around my image. So now I'm looking at dragging this crop tool so that it isolates that one panel of the storyboard. So that's pretty close. So as soon as I hit the arrow tool or anything, it's going to go, do I want to crop? So I'll hit crop. And then I'm going to go fill screen so I can see that image. So still got some of the box in there, so I can hit crop again, and I can make sure I'm going right tight into storyboard frame there. Double click on it so that it isolates that. So this one image, I want to create two. And this is scene 19, and we already have, when we looked on the Premiere timeline, that we have the first three panels. So it's 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5. Now I want to create 4 of 5 and 5 of 5 of our panels here. So to do that, first what I'm going to do, I want to get rid of this red arrow and note here. So I'm going to take my pencil tool. I want to make sure that, well, one, I want to make sure I match that background. So I'm going to go to the eyedropper tool and just select that background because it might not be totally white. I'm going to come down here. When I sampled, it's this little box down here. This one I already sampled, which is the darker, which is the pencil line. So I'm just going to switch that, grab my pencil tool, and I can change the size of that pencil so I can just erase all of that perfectly. So that one's great. That's actually our frame 4 of 5. So I am going to save that. So I'm going to go under File, and I'm not just going to save because that I got this image by cropping into my full page of my storyboard, and I don't want to lose that. So I got to make sure I'm doing Save As. So I'm just saving that one image. So here I've already got scene 19, 1 of 3, scene 19, 2 of 3, and scene 19, 3 of 3. So that's how I really recommend that you identify your panels by scene, and then even group your panels in scenes in the Premiere file so that you can know where you're cutting and what scenes you need to set up in 3D Studio Max when we go to animate. So on this one, so I'm going to label that now down here because we're saving that image. It's going to go in here. So I'm going to label that as scene and then 19. Then I'm going to hit dash and I'm going to do 4. Now in Storyboard we do that backslash, but it won't save that as a name file. They don't use backslashes. So to replace that, I'm going to do underscore and then 5, so we know what panel that is in our sequence. Then I'm going to hit save, and we'll just press OK because this JPEG option here, that gives us optimum quality, so that's great. And we've got that one saved. So now what I want to do is I want to get rid of this branch, like it's gone out of the scene, because that's where I had the red arrow and out. So now I want to actually visualize that. So I'm going to go in here and just, I say erase, but I'm using the pencil tool to actually go in and cover over that image with white. And I can decrease the size of that so I can get in here and erase this part of the image. And since I have the pencil tool here, I can fill in kind of the blanks on the background here. I'm using a mouse, so it's a bit cumbersome. If you have your tablet, that works much better, easier to control. But here I'm going to switch this over, and I'm going to put that line across, and maybe I'll just decrease that size a little bit. There we go. And then kind of complete that background. So it looks okay. Again, the images are not super clean, and they go by quite quickly, as you saw on the Premiere file when we're putting those images on. So now we have the last panel of that sequence. So now I'm going to go Save As again, because I don't want to overwrite what I had before. And then I'm going to label this and make that scene 19 dash 5_5, so that we have all of our panels here. So I've got that. So there we go. So that sequence is done. So that's what I mean by modify or prepping your images in Photoshop, to make sure they're get rid of all the arrows, any of the red notes and whatever. And if something comes in, something goes out, have that background or image with that object removed so that it makes more sense. So here we're going to go into Premiere. I'm going to go up here and import. I'm going to import those last two frames here, and here they are. Scene 19, 4, 5, 5, and 5. I'm going to grab those, press open, and then down here they will be here. Now you can see how much each of these frames are quite small. You can see when I import these two how long they are. When you import an image, it gives it quite a few frames, and we really want to custom time these images, and they'll be much smaller. So I'm going to take this one. Let's see which one that is. Yeah, there we go. So we can see here's that sequence, him being brought down, and then I'm going to bring this one so we can see that that branch is taking that image. And now I'm going to go to this one here, of where we're left with just the background of the image. The branch has taken that medallion. So again, if we play this whole thing, see how that works. That sequence, it was just two panels in my storyboard of Quack banging on the top of Pete's home with his can. But I thought it'd be more effective if he stomps on that a few times. So just repeat those two drawings and get a lot more out of it. So bang, bang, bang. Then they come running out, and he goes flying out of the scene and across and into the tree, and it lowers him down and takes off with the collar. So knowing how the animatic is going to come together, it's going to help us prep those those panels in Photoshop. So that's step one, and hopefully we get those scanned. 300 dpi for the page, and as you notice when we import these in, they fit perfectly into our image without resizing, and that's great. So one less step that we have to do. So 300 dpi and cleaning up those images. All right, great. Good luck, and be ready for part 2.